Versatile Mage. Chapter 698. The Most Admired Person. We're alive. We're still alive. They're gone. The undead. Not a single one left. We've won. We've won. The city was suddenly immersed in cheers. The dawnlight was fairly bright, but the grey clouds and rain remained. Yet none of it mattered now. As long as the undead army was gone, the city would be safe. They had all survived the calamity. The magicians on the wall fell to the ground feebly. The calamity had drained all their energy. They had prepared to sacrifice their lives in battle, yet they never thought they would actually survive and witness the undead tide falling away. It was unbelievable. Even they found it hard to believe what they had seen. It felt like the tide brought by a great storm was about to devour them, and it was obvious that the rain would continue to fall. But the black tide suddenly receded. The water level quickly dropped to their feet and withdrew from the little island they were on. Many people lay on the ground, looking up into the sky. The raindrops that fell on their faces felt warm, as they could not extinguish the excitement and joy in their hearts. The people hugged one another. Cries of relief after surviving the calamity echoed in the city, regardless of whether they knew each other. The magicians outside the city were returning. Some stood still on the spacious ground covered in debris. It took them a while to collect their thoughts. Mo Fan was still standing on the slanting signal tower. His eyes were staring north. The runes covering his body had disappeared. His silver hair returned to black. The wild lightning and fire were withdrawn deep into his soul. The fight had ended, and it was time for the demon deep in his soul to go back to sleep. Otherwise, the young man would age rapidly. Where are we? Zhang Xiaohe was the first to wake up, shaking his dizzy head heavily. He immediately saw Mo Fan sitting on the edge of the signal tower. His face was filled with joy. He ran up and hugged him, at a loss for words. Mo Fan had yet to recover from the cold bloodiness of the demon element, but when he saw Zhang Xiaohe burst into tears like his younger brother, he could not help but pat him on the head. After some time, Zhang Xiaohe finally calmed down. Seeing Mo Fan still staring north, he asked, "Did you see him? He was always looking after us, right?" asked Mo Fan. There were still many things they could not explain about the calamity, as it felt like someone had been opposing the Black Vatican behind the scenes too. However, Mo Fan did not have the chance to see him until the very last moment. He has always been looking after us," Zhang Xiaohe said, glancing at the city that was immersed in cheers and at the people surrounding Han Ji, Zhu Meng, Du Xiao, and the mysterious man as they returned to the city. The truth was, Han Ji, Zhu Meng, Du Xiao, and the mysterious man had never seen Zan Kong before, so they did not recognize him. "Is he considered dead?" asked Mo Fan. The moment Zan Kong turned around, Mo Fan suddenly felt the air around him turn sour. Even his throat felt stuck. He could not find the words, even though there were so many things he wanted to say. Mo Fan could easily guess what had happened at the altar without Zhang Xiaohe's explanation. But was he really gone like that? Was the man he respected most still alive? Was that the ancient king, or Zan Kong? For some reason, Mo Fan's thoughts were filled with the past. He remembered the extremely difficult missions that the chief military instructor had given them during training. He remembered how Zan Kong shamelessly tried to become Mo Fan's sworn brother at the Mu family's villa. He remembered the scene he would never forget, when Zan Kong led his subordinates to fight the Darkwing Wolf. During the incident at Jilin City, he had traveled a great distance to save him too. He was their instructor during training, but more like a mentor on the path of becoming a magician. He had not taught him a single spell, but he had used his actions to teach him how to become a reliable man. The good thing is, we didn't let him down in this battle against the Black Vatican, Mo Fan sighed, slowly withdrawing his gaze. Zhang Xiaohe nodded heavily. They were chief military instructor Zan Kong's students, and they always would be. The city might have no clue who had driven the undead army away, but they would forever remember him. Meanwhile, the Black Vatican had carefully planned their conspiracy, Yet they never expected that the commander of Bow City, whom they had completely disregarded, would be the one disrupting their festival. Test run. The unforgivable sin the Black Vatican had committed in Bow City had trained people like Mo Fan, Zhang Xiaoho, Zhu Xiaoting, and Zan Kong, who would give all they had to fight against the Black Vatican, even if it meant sacrificing their lives. The Black Vatican had brought fear and death to the world, yet to those who had survived the calamities, all they had sown was an inextinguishable fury in their hearts. A little Bow City had already trained so many people, let alone the ancient capital, which had existed for thousands of years. Many brave survivors would step forward. The wild ambition of the Black Vatican to bring chaos upon the world would not stand a chance against the determination of the people who wanted to eradicate the evil organization. The seeds had been planted, watered with the sad tears of those who had lost their loved ones. They would surely blossom one day. On the clock tower, Great Deacon Hu Jin still could not believe what had just happened as he hung there in the rain. The whole city was celebrating, but he looked worse than a dead man. The festival was gone, implying he would no longer be sent to paradise. His soul would fall into the burning pot together with the dark beast monsters and become an ugly slave for the rest of his life. Tar, tar. It was the sound of heels hitting the concrete. The clock tower was now empty. He did not dare breathe when she heard the footsteps. However, it seemed like two people were walking up the stairs. "Why did you call me here?" said a woman. "I believe there's no one here. I thought we were both going to die. Either way, there's something I have wanted to tell you for a long time. About 10 years ago, when we first met here, you were still a hunter master. I know I'm not worthy of you. I'm still an ordinary imperial magician after 10 years, but for the past 10 years, you've always been the most perfect woman in my heart," said a man. "Is that all you have to say?" The woman's voice sounded rather cold. "Yeah, I'm not hoping you would accept me, but I still wanted to tell you my feelings," said the man firmly. "Normally, I would accept everyone willing to submit to me, but unfortunately, you've spoken this nonsense to me when I'm in my worst mood. I won't accept your feelings, but I don't mind accepting your heart," said the woman. "What did you say?" "Ah." The man's voice turned into a painful scream in the middle of her words. The clock tower suddenly fell silent. Not a single sound could be heard. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.